Run, party, repeat. Welcome to the East Coast Adventures Dirt and Vert Podcast, where we talk all things running, racing, and training to help you get ready for your next big adventure.
Learn from our successes and our failures, and have fun at the same time. Join us right here every week with inspiring guests who share their captivating tales from the trails. And remember, nobody cares.
Run faster. All right, welcome back to the Dirt and Vert Podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Matt.
And we have a guest today that I'm sure many people have heard his name and saw a lot of his records, and just actually broke an American record this past weekend at a race called the Pistol. Has also tackled some of the biggest courses and hardest, which would be like the AT. He did it in 60 days, which it's a pretty gnarly trail for people that don't know what it is, but most people's heard of the Appalachian Trail. But 60 days, a lot of miles to cover there and a lot to average, but you actually did it the same time I think Tara was trying to set her FKT, which was really cool seeing you all running on the running on the AT together. But Mike, I would go through your list of races and just talk about your accomplishments, but there's so many of them. You're just, you've done so much stuff over the years. Can't wait to hear some of your story, but congratulations on a new American record.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
We'll get more into that here shortly. But Mike Wardian, if you don't care, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got into running.
Yeah, man. My name's Michael Wardian. I'm a 50-year-old professional endurance athlete from Arlington, Virginia, with a focus on marathons and ultra marathons. I've been a professional athlete for over 25 years, but I didn't grow up a runner. I grew up playing a sport called lacrosse and played that through high school. Went to Oakton High School here in Arlington. Well, I was actually out in Oakton at that point, and which is a suburb of Washington, D.C. Went away to college at Michigan State University, played lacrosse there, and then stopped playing my junior year, picked up running to stay fit, and got hooked. I went home with my buddy Vince Boyson for Easter my junior year of college, and his mom had just run the Boston Marathon, and that was the spark. That was the moment that changed my life. Like literally, his mom, Vicky Boyson, had like a little crinkly blanket and like her unicorn medal, and I was like, oh, I want one of those. And so from that point on, I decided that I was going to run the Boston Marathon. Didn't know you had to qualify. Found out you had to qualify. Ran the Marine Corps Marathon. Got my qualifier in 3:06. At that point, I was like 21, 22 in 1996, and ran the Boston Marathon in 1997. Broke 3 hours and haven't looked back since, man. Like it's like that was what got me into running, and I still go back to Boston almost every year and run now, like you said, I think 180 marathons and 130 ultra marathons, and set records on um, all 7 continents. Yeah, run tough races, long races, tough adventures like the Appalachian Trail last year in 2024 and 2022. I ran across the United States in 61 days, so 3,332 miles in 61 days, averaging 50 miles a day. And yeah, I've been really lucky to get to do this, and it's been absolute honor and privilege to get to compete on the highest stage. Present Team USA in 50K and 100K World Championships, running a couple Olympic trials, and uh, now I'm still luckily a sponsored athlete, and I get to take on big challenges like this past weekend at the Pistol Ultra, like, and still trying to set records, as I age, and yeah, I've got a lot more hopefully coming up in the future.
Well, that was an amazing performance at the Pistol. I enjoyed watching you fly around the track.
Thanks.
It was really cool.
I thought he was going to catch me on that last lap. He was going out and I said, he's going to catch me. He's going to catch me. But luckily, I got to see him as he was coming across the road and just flying.
So, Mike, your very first marathon, like, you qualified for Boston?
Yeah.
That's
My
awesome.
goal was to qualify, and yeah, Like, and literally, I thought I would run Boston and just be done and be like, oh, I did that thing. And that's of course like not what happened, but I did like get the bug at Boston, and like it was the coolest experience. Like, I don't know if you guys have run Boston, but it's like one of those crazy bucket list events, and everyone gets treated like a rock star. It's kind of like, the Pistol Ultra or something. Like, everyone feels like, they're the star of the show, right? But like, imagine having like, 100,000 people screaming your name rather than, a couple hundred, right, at the Pistols. So that was, yeah, for me, one of those things where I just wanted to have that feeling as much as possible. And it really hasn't diminished. I still feel like I get that same butterflies in my stomach and same excitement when people, a couple weeks before the pistol record, I set a record as Forrest Gump in ran 2:35 in the one city marathon. I still get excited when people, get fired up about seeing me run, if it's in costume or in a USA singlet or for some of my sponsors.
I can only imagine how hot that was running in a costume.
Actually, the Forrest Gump costume's not hot at all, actually. Like, it's pretty good. I've got the beard and like, yeah, I just had to wear like, kind of like a crappy, like red shorts and a yellow shirt, and the rest of it was pretty easy. But like when I set the record as Spider-Man, like that was really hot. Or like I had like a really cool, in 2016, I broke the world record as Elvis. And so like I had this like super like, jumpsuit that was like white and sequined, and that was really hot. So yeah, I've definitely run in hotter costumes. The Forrest Gump costume wasn't so bad.
How many races have you done in costumes?
Probably like 10. Yeah, at least 10. Yeah, a couple times with Spider-Man, a couple times with Forrest Gump, a couple times as Elvis, and think I've done. Oh, I did a 5K in one of those like inflatable dinosaur costumes, like that was like crazy hot. That is actually
Yeah.
probably the hottest. Like, I almost like passed out because of that one.
Oh wow.
You did a
Yeah.
marathon
And
in
then I've
that?
run as like the no, 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 no. I only did a 5K in the
Oh, okay.
dinosaur costume. No, like, but I would do a marathon in the dinosaur costume. I would just like, I broke the little air compressor because I was running too hard. I would just like definitely chill on the pace. Like, I was
Yeah.
still trying to run like sub like 6 minute pace in the dinosaur costume, and it was just
My
too fast. It was like going everywhere and you couldn't see anything. Yeah, it was super dodgy.
man, what a humbling experience it would be to get passed by someone in a
As you're thinking,
T-Rex
doing
or a
great,
dinosaur costume.
get whooped by a dude in a dinosaur outfit.
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's some good ones. Like, yeah, I definitely think that would be a funny one. If you could get like a custom dinosaur where you could actually breathe. And the like, and then you need to like, I don't know if you know, but there's like a fan in there that like blows the air to like keep the integrity. And it's just like that thing broke. So then it just collapsed on my head, and it was just like suffocating me, like the fabric. So yeah, I would make sure that I had like some redundancy. Like, if one of the fans broke, that I would have access to another fan.
He needs industrial
And then
grade.
I would strap it to I would wear, I didn't think of that, but I would probably wear like one of my Nathan vests, and then put the little remote control in the pocket, and then maybe like pad it with like some plastic bags or like some gel, like some goos or something, to keep it like taut so it doesn't bounce around. And
I,
Yeah.
I
that's what I
think you're
think
gonna.
broke it.
I think you're gonna have to try it again now.
Yep. He's got it figured out now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's how it works with all events, right? Like, the first time you do something, like, you have an idea of how it's going to go, but you're not quite sure, and then you can refine it and make it better every time, going forward.
Yep.
It's
Or at
always a
least
learning experience.
yeah, or at least hopefully that's what you do. Like, that being said, I've made a lot of the same mistakes more than once. So
Yeah,
I definitely
you
have.
always think that you figured it out, and then it just happens in like the next race or two, and you're like,
yes.
start over.
Well, and then sometimes you just make a trade-off, right? Like I could
Yeah.
make this way better, but that's gonna suck. Like the I don't know, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? Or the squeeze isn't
Yeah.
worth the juice, or whatever. You're just like, all right, man, I know I'm gonna have wet feet because like that's just part of the like what's gonna happen. And I could carry like three extra pairs of socks, but I don't want to carry the extra weight. So like that's the trade-off I'm gonna make is like I'm gonna have wet feet. Okay, fine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you can overthink and overanalyze everything, to the point that it just becomes toxic. So
Right. But then there's some stuff where you really should like I made a couple days on the AT, I was like, I don't want to carry the extra weight, and then I got caught in a crazy storm on a ridge top and thought I was gonna die. And then from that point on, I was like, I don't care about the extra weight. I'm carrying a rain jacket every time I go and a poncho because like I don't want to die. Like that, and I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to allow that to happen because I was dumb and I'm going to die on this ridge with a bag, like a whole like RV full of crap that I could have had. But I'm up here in like, 1 inch split shorts and a singlet because I was trying to save 6 ounces like an idiot.
it's funny you say that though, but or really interesting. I shouldn't say funny. We had a gentleman on here a few weeks ago, and they're currently running across America as well. Team Red, White,
Sweet.
and Blue. They're
Yeah.
doing it as a relay. So we
Yep.
had a gentleman on here not too long ago, and he was talking about it, and he said, so he did the what is it, the race in Alaska?
Okay.
I did a run.
Yes.
Yeah, that
So
thing, yeah.
he did that. And he was talking about it, and he shares this picture, and it just looks miserable. But he was talking about, he's like, any event I do, any multi-day event, anything I do like that, he said the very first question I always ask myself, will I die? Like, am I packing enough stuff that I can survive the night? He's like, that's what I ask
Yes.
myself. Will I, can I survive a night? Am I going to die? And he's like, if the answer is no, I feel confident.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it definitely changes your perception on things. Like I got off that ridge line and I called my wife and I was like, I'm happy with my life. Like I'm happy with the decisions we've made. Like if that was the end, I was content, which was like a nice place to be. Like I had no regrets, right? Like but also like I didn't want my life to be over.
Yep.
And if
That's
that
not how you
means I
want to
gotta
go.
carry, yeah, that means I have to carry a little extra weight so that I don't end up in that position again, I'm gonna freaking do it. So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, there are definitely times where you're like, okay, I'm not gonna carry gloves and I'm just gonna carry like medical gloves that like are gonna keep me from getting frostbite. But like that's just one of those things where you're like, okay, it's gonna suck if I need these, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to lose fingers.
You were talking about we were talking about the marathon, and you qualified for Boston in your very first marathon. Did you do like an actual training plan? Did you just
100%. Yeah.
run this? Okay, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't
No,
know
no,
if it
no.
was one of those where you were new and you're just like, I'm going to go run this 3-hour
You
marathon.
can just send it, see what happens.
No, no, no. Well, I mean, kind of, but not really. I mean, so my buddy Vince's mom, Vicky, she literally like just took a book and this was like in the late 90s. So like she went to like Kinko's or somewhere and photocopied it. And it was just literally like I think I still have it. It's like called Your First Marathon or something, and it was literally just like a matrix, like you would get like a spreadsheet now, and it was like Tuesday run 6 miles, Wednesday run 8 miles, and I mean, I'm a coach now, so like it's just a natural marathon progression where it was like easy run, tempo run, long run, and then track. I mean, it was just like a 10, actually, it was probably like a 16-week plan or something. So what, like 4 month plan? And I just did whatever it said to do. Like if it was snowing and it said run 13 miles, I just went and did 13 miles. And if I was tired, I would just do the 6 miles or 8 miles or 10 miles or whatever it was. And I mean, people need coaches, but like literally it's as easy as that. Like you guys know that as we all try to make it super complicated and there's way cool things you can do with like your watch telling you to do all this stuff. But if you just go out and run consistently, you're going to be able to do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the rest is how far are you wanting to go? That's when coaching becomes the question. It's like when you've hit your plateau of what that's when it's time to be like, if I'm going to get better, I'm going to have to learn from somebody else. I need a coach. I need someone to help me.
Well,
Because it's
or
really,
if you just don't want to do the work, like you don't want to like be in, you want to have someone hold you accountable, that's one thing. Or you want to speed up the process because like it took me a long time to like make all the mistakes. Whereas like if you have a coach and you could be like, I'm planning to eat like jelly beans and coconut water that I harvest from like I'm gonna carry a machete and cut the coconuts at the aid stations. You might be like, hey, there's these engineered food that is gonna hit all the things you need to hit, and I'm gonna save you from a year of being like, oh, that was really stupid. So like that's where I think a coach can come in handy. Or like I was talking to my buddy who's coaching somebody that wants to run across Texas, and I was like, that's awesome, but like, have they done anything? Like you were saying, like Tara did like the 300 mile before she did the AT. Like that makes sense. She didn't just say like, hey, I'm gonna go do the AT. Like before I ran the AT, I ran across Israel, which was like 1,000 kilometers in 10 days, like 100K a day, to see what that would feel like and to see like how my body responded, how my nutrition was, like do I really miss my family as much as I think I'm going to miss my family? Like, can I get by with work? Like, all those things, like, you work it out a little bit before you do something like that. So, like, a coach could be like, that's awesome that you want to do that, but maybe instead of going 800 miles, you go 80 miles when you haven't even run a 100-mile week before, like,
yeah.
or let's just go like 30 miles every day from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and see how you feel. Or like, I know for me, I don't know if you guys have done this, but like, I always ran in the morning. So like when I started doing the longer stuff, like it sucked to run at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon when it's like 100 degrees. Like, and like all of a sudden the food that you like to eat doesn't taste as good and
Yep.
your
Yep.
stomach doesn't want to eat it. So like what I'll do with some clients is I'll have them, if they're doing a big thing, I'll have them run like 10 miles in the morning, 10 miles at lunch after they've eaten, and then 10 miles again in the evening after they've had like dinner. Like for me, like after I eat, I don't really want to run, but if you're doing like 100 miles, you got to eat and then you got to go and run. So like it simulates that. Plus, it like you're 20 miles into the day already by the time you have to go out and put your shoes on again. And it's just like coming into an aid station at like 10 o'clock at night and you're like, I still have 20 miles to go. So like, that's a way where you can kind of like, I didn't figure that out for like 20 years, that like that's a good simulation and it's way better than just going and doing a 30-mile run in the morning. Like it's because
Well,
yeah.
I love the fact that you talk about, skipping the trial and error because that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I did not get a coach for a long time, and it took me a long time to understand how to like what you're just talking about is train your stomach. I mean, that's a muscle
Yeah.
too. You're trying to train your stomach on how to eat when it gets hot, when you're tired, when you're overheating,
Yes.
when you don't feel good. Like
Yeah.
all of that stuff plays a key role. And if you quit eating, you're in for a very long, long night of
Yeah.
just
I mean,
things.
but like, like you can do it. It just sucks.
Yeah. Well,
It's
there's nothing
like,
good about any of it.
well, yeah. I mean, all of it's gonna hurt, but like that
Yes.
just sucks when you're just like drinking Mountain Dew and trying to make it like 2 miles at a time, like that's, I mean, 100% possible. Like I finished a couple 100 milers on just like Coke
Hmm.
and throwing up every like 5 miles, but it wasn't my favorite experience.
No,
I've
Um,
done that.
no, no. But you walk away like feeling like you gain something off that. Like you were a little
yeah,
tougher, but it's not how you want to do
No.
every race.
no, exactly. And like there's sometimes where you're just like, I know this is like gonna be another like 17 hours, like because I'm only going 3 miles an hour, maybe, so like okay, like I could do that. Man, it's gonna not be that fun. But then, sometimes you like feel like that for like a couple hours, and then all of a sudden you get like a second wind, and like you pick it up, and you're like, ah, I feel great. Yeah, feed me whatever.
Yeah.
So like that's the
There's
other thing.
yeah.
It's
It's
just
ultras.
like
Ultras are definitely a roller coaster.
They are.
I mean, it's the best
And
way to
but like
explain.
it was funny. I was playing pickleball with my buddy today and my wife and his wife, and he was telling me that he's a big Eagles fan, and he was telling me that like there's this awesome like um YouTube about like Saquon Barkley, the running back for the Eagles, just going like, they're crushing the Chiefs, and he's just like, just be steady, man, just be steady. Like this is, just don't get too excited. And I feel like that's what I tell myself in an ultra all the time is like, just like, however good you're gonna feel, it's not always gonna be like this, and however bad you feel, it's not gonna be like this. You just gotta just be like steady, just be steady.
Yeah,
That's good advice.
it is.
Yeah, that's very good advice.
Yeah,
Because you never know what the day is going to hand you in an ultra. Period. Or even a
100%.
marathon. I mean, anything, any endurance run can go south at any mile.
Yeah, and it can go better.
It sure can.
But like that being said, like I've run some really days where I've like, this is my day, and like the whole day, it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if you've ever had those races are like the golfers talk about it. It's like that one shot that gets you to keep coming back. But like when you get a race like where everything, and I feel like that happened to me at the pistol. Like I got like a little overheated, and you guys did a nice job at that aid station, because the first couple times I came around, I was crying at you to move the water closer. And eventually you did. And someone was like, we only moved it because you kept yelling at us. But I was like, I'm not leaving the course. Like, I need every second. And eventually the water, like, it was so funny. Like, every lap, the water got a little bit closer. And by the end, it was like, I could just grab it. I was like, oh,
Yep.
thank goodness.
Brittany, my wife, was at that aid station. And at some point when I came in, she goes, Michael was going so fast, he just yelled, water. and then she's like, we moved that table down there so the people that just didn't want to come off course would just grab it and go.
That makes sense, though.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny, and like it's like basically a road ultra, and then you guys had the aid station like up this like it wasn't a big hill, but it was like a hill, and I was like,
It's
but
enough.
this isn't. You guys are like not trying. This isn't trying to be Barkley, where you just throw the water down the edge and make us go climb and get it. Like, I was like, what's going on? But like, it was so funny. She was so cute because she was like, I only moved it because you kept yelling for water, and I was like, thank you.
That sounds like Melinda.
It's probably
Was that
Melinda. Yeah, down there for a long time. Her and Morgan.
Yeah,
I come through that aid station. She's like, "It's the birthday boy!" But by the time I come through, the water station was already moved. So
Yeah.
you must have already have yelled at them.
what was it like? I was just like, please, yes.
Water. Hey,
Yeah.
they listened though. They
They did
listened
listen.
and they responded.
Yeah, 100%. They were great. And what was funny too is like the other run, because you're passing everyone a lot, and the other runners, like I'd be like coming through, like trying to like weave through everyone. So yeah, it was, I don't know. I thought it was fun because you get to see everyone as you're going the whole time, and you get to keep cheering for each other. That's why, like, sometimes, like, I know a lot of people like the point to point and all that kind of stuff, but like sometimes the loop races like that are cool just because, like, you build like that community within the race, and everyone is like really supportive of everyone else. I mean,
Yeah.
plus it just makes it easy for the race too. Like, they don't have to, like,
Less
shut
aid
everything
stations,
down.
less volunteers.
Yeah,
But it
exactly.
is really fun because you get to see everybody. And when you do a point to point, I mean, if you're charging up front, it's usually a lonely day.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. You don't see anybody till you get to an aid station or a finish line.
Or a
That's why.
turnaround. I guess it
Yeah.
is an out and back. Like Leadville, you get to go up and over Hope, and then when you come back, you get to see people. But I mean, yeah, I agree. But I mean, yeah, but like we said
There's
earlier,
benefits to both.
there's benefits to both, and there's something like awesome about like always like not knowing what's coming. Like if you haven't been on the course before, and you're
Mhm.
like, you know super excited to see like the next vista or whatever it might be. And then also you get more chance, you get, at like a Western States or something, you get to go to like see the different cultures of the different aid stations, and
Yeah.
like that's really cool. And like the race I really love is I like so many, but like the one Hard Rock, like they have like these really like unique, aid stations that people really are invested in, and it's just like this whole, like you guys were saying about your friends that go up and party and like do a good job for people, but that's a fun thing about getting to see different ones.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. You get to meet all kinds of just cool people. And the truth is, you never know who you're running beside either. I mean, that's what's so fun about this community is like you have no idea who you're running beside because when you're decked out in running clothes, you don't, it's just, and then later on
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that was so and so. It's
Yeah,
kind of fun.
exactly. Yeah. The other aid station was really good too. Those guys were like super dialed. I don't know if you're friends with those guys, but
Yeah.
huge shout out to them because they really were hooking me up like on the backside of the course. And
Yeah,
then I don't know, did you guys run through the 5K? Like that was crazy, like with
at the
all the
beginning.
people. Yeah, it was like for me it was like the second lap,
Right.
but there was a guy with like a big cross, like a full size cross, like
Yeah.
not like like just a little cross on your neck, but like
Yeah,
the
big old wooden one.
yeah, big wooden one. Like, and what's weird is I don't think he was going so fast because I think I saw him twice, so that would have been like an hour later. Like, so I think I saw him on one loop and then I saw him still going, but like. Then I was thinking he's probably got like an 80 pounds worth of weight or more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
That was
probably would
crazy.
take an hour to run a 5K with 80 pounds.
At least he done it before it got hot because it got really hot.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. My buddy was asking like, "How were your splits?" And I was like, "They were pretty good." And then it got really hot, and then they got kind of bad. Like I went from like sub 6 to like 6:10 to like 6:30 to 6:40, and so I was like, "Oh, I got this record sewn up." And then by the end, I was like, "I got to keep going. It's getting
It,
close."
it was unexpectedly hot. Like I did not expect it to get that warm. Now, granted, you were done before it got super hot because you were smart and you did the 50K. But
Yes.
the 100K, it was baking, and they did the 100 mile. But
Oh yeah.
towards
Yeah.
the end, I was trying to hit 100 grams of carbs every hour, and when I got into like hour 7, man, it was all I could do. It's what you were talking about. That's like when the training comes in because I was like, my stomach didn't want it, but I was getting it down, and I just kept
Yeah.
it. And,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just,
The reversal of fortune is not good.
but I was able to get them down and finish. But I could see why you were slowing down because it definitely hit me too. Like I died in the last 2 laps were so hard. I was trying to hold a 7:30 for the whole 100K, and I fell to an 8:30 and then a 9:30 by the end, and I missed the state record by 10 minutes.
Ouch. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I think if you got a little bit cooler weather, that would have been yours then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so close.
Did
But
you-
I loved just, you were pumping me up when you ran by, and then I would see Zickfood come by. I was like, these guys are flying.
I was
like,
trying
got
to
this.
I was trying to count the minutes between them because when I saw him, I was like, how many minutes is Brown behind him? And then once I saw you coming across the road to the finish line, Brian wasn't too far, maybe around the old railroad bridge. He was coming out there just to get him. I'm like, go get it, dude, go get it. But that's what I was doing the whole time. I was trying to count the minutes. I'm like, oh, he's 3, 4, 5 minutes behind him.
Yeah, I was building, like, it was building up a pretty good lead because we would, like, run by each other. So I could see that I was putting time on him. But he got super lucky on the first lap. I was coming back from the finish line and he was coming towards the finish line. And I was like, dude, you got to go up to the metric turn, like, and so like that would have sucked because he would have been short the first lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was just like pure happenstance. Like I was just like 3 minutes ahead, and as he was coming, like I was coming, and I was like, dude, you got to go that way first, and he was like, oh shit, okay.
But see, that's the camaraderie in this sport that is so awesome.
Oh yeah, 100%,
Like
man.
we're always trying to help each other.
Yeah.
And you don't see that in every sport, but you see that in running for the most part. And that's awesome.
Yeah, especially like, yeah, I mean, like I feel like that community, yeah, everyone looks out. I mean, everyone looks out for each other in running for the most part. Like, you get some bad apples, but for most part, all the people I've met through running have been pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Absolutely.
Even like
Well,
the
let's-
people that are just supporting too, like, you know what I mean? Like, because they know like how much work goes into it, like for their partners or
Yeah. Yep.
whatever. So like, yeah. And like,
I mean-
I feel like all the races for the most part are out to like, give people the chance to do something incredible.
Absolutely. So how long did it take you to go from your marathons to actually trying an ultra distance? Because I
Actually, it
see
was
that
the first year. It
I
was
was going to
pretty
say
quick.
you did JFK 50. I'm looking at your ultra sign up, but you said you did JFK 50 in 1998. So you
Yep.
obviously started pretty quick.
Yeah.
So it was the same year.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah. So it was 1997. I did Boston, and then I thought it was 1997 that I did JFK the first time, but I guess it's 98. So I guess it was.
And then he does a 230K right after that.
So I did JFK. I did Boston, New York, Boston, Chicago, New York, and Marine Corps, and then I did JFK. So that was like my first year, I guess. So yeah.
What I love seeing, and I was kind of like ultra sign up stalking you right before this
Oh, that's
podcast.
cool. Yeah.
But here's what I love is the fact that your very first JFK 50 miler, you were about 8 hours, just a little under 8 hours.
Well, I thought it was like 8:30. So that was better. Well, it's funny. So the story behind that, I don't know if you want to hear it, but like did my dad, Dick Wardian, he saw a thing for, there's a pretty famous guy, Scotty Mills. He used to run the San Diego 100 miler. He was kind of big in the ultra scene and still is. Super cool guy. He's done Hard Rock a bunch, Western States a bunch. He had a store here, Fleet Feet in Springfield, and they had a talk about JFK. And my dad said, like, hey, there's this talk. You want to go? And I was like, sure. And then by that point, I think I'd run like 240, 235 or something. And we went to the talk, and he was saying like that people run 50 miles. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I thought like the marathon was, I'd seen something about comrades, but that was in South Africa. And I was like, probably never gonna have a chance to do that. Or if I do, it'll be a long time from now. But I heard about JFK, and we went to this talk, and he's saying like, oh, people run 50 miles, and it's just like, that's not true. He's like, yeah, no, they do. And I was like, well, shit, like if you just take my marathon time and you double it, like they run like over 6 hours. Like I run 235, you double that, that's 5 hours. Like, hell yeah, I'm gonna win. So like I went there like thinking I was gonna win. And then I ran like 8 hours and like thought I was gonna die. And like because I was like, oh, and literally like it was so funny because like I obviously didn't win, and like the people that they were just so fast. I was like, these guys are insanely fast. And I ended up with like these old guys that they were probably like my age now, but like when I was 22, they seemed ancient, but like they were doing like run walk, and so they would like run 10 minutes, or run 10 minutes, walk like 2 minutes or something. And I was like, I'm a runner, I'm not like ever walking. And like literally like those guys would like get in front of me, and then they would do their walk break, and then I would pass them, and then they would pass me back, and it was literally like, and I was like, oh my God. I just remember them being like, time to walk. And I'd be like, I'm going to get ahead of them. And then they'd pass me by. And yeah. And so what was cool though is like, I came back, a bunch of years later in, I think 2007 or 2008, and ended up winning JFK. And, um, almost breaking the course record. So like, there's definitely a lot of stuff that happened in between, but it was cool to have that full circle moment of being like, oh, someday, I'm gonna win that, and then get my ass kicked, and then coming back and actually, winning it eventually.
Well, and that's what I would say when I was Facebook stalking you. I see that you ran JFK 50 a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it like 12 times, 11 times with one non-finish, but then yeah, dude, you get a stupid sweatshirt. So people do a lot of stupid stuff. I think if you get 500 miles, you get a sweatshirt or something. So I did it until I got the sweatshirt, and then I was like, I can do some other stuff. But I would still do it. It's like still one of my favorite races, and I love the organization, and it's like a local hometown classic. So yeah, for sure. Like I'll go back. It's just like I've had other stuff to do since I got my 10th finish.
Yeah.
Well, what's really cool though is like and it kind of, there's a gap, but so I don't know if it's just JFK 50 or if ultra sign up or if you just didn't run it during that time.
Yeah.
But like you were like eights or, and even sevens. And then all of a sudden for 2001, you ran it in 8 again. But then in 2007, you run it in 5 hours and 50 minutes and you win it. And like, there's no races in between that gap. They're literally side by side. And I was just like, well, this is really interesting. Like, did you not run ultras during that time? Like, was there
Not really. Yeah. So I was focused in 2001. I decided that I was going to try to qualify for the Olympic trials in the men's marathon. And
Okay.
so I did my first qualifier in Detroit in 2023 and ran in I'm sorry, in 2003. And then in 2004, I ran my first Olympic trials in Birmingham. Then I ran the Olympic trials in New York in 2007. And then that next weekend is when I won JFK. So it was like, or no,
that
I think it
Olympic
was,
trial training definitely paid off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can run 5:18 pace, like, yeah, you definitely can. Yeah, I think I ran like a 2:40 marathon on the towpath section. And yeah, that definitely helps. You got a little bit of leg speed. So yeah, so basically I focused on the marathon, and then Mike Spindler, who's the race director for JFK, was at the Olympic trials. And it was funny because I ended up leading the Olympic trials for like 10K. And I literally thought I was going to the Olympics. Like, I was like, holy crap, I'm going to go to the Olympics. And then, yeah, like 10K, like everyone else was like, yeah, you're not going to the Olympics. And like, they just passed me. And so it was funny. I saw Spindler and he was on the course, and it was literally like the first time around, it was in New York City and the New York Roadrunners put it on. It was awesome. But like, I have this crazy picture of me in front of like, I don't know if you know all these guys, but like Ryan Hall, Meb Keflezighi, like Abdi Abraham, like Josh Cox, who's funnily is now my agent, but like in front of like all these like super stud athletes. Yeah, and then yeah, of course I didn't win. But like Spindler was like seeing me like going around because it started like downtown and then you went into Central Park and you did like 4 loops. And the first loop he's like, "You're in first." And I was like, "Awesome." And then second loop he's like, "You're in like 30th." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then the fourth loop he's like, "You're in like 70th." And I was like, "Okay, I got it. I got it." So yeah, I mean, I didn't win, but I had good fitness. And then he's like, "Hey, why don't you come back and run JFK again?" Because my goal was to, represent the U.S. And if you ran JFK and you ran under 6 hours, you had a chance to qualify for the 100K World Team. And so that was my chance to represent the U.S. and ended up winning the race. And then that started my journey running the 100K for Team USA for, I think I ran 8 or 10 years on the 100K World Team with like a silver medal finish, which was my best and led us to well, I was part of the team that earned some gold medals for Team USA. So that was awesome. Like, I don't think there's anything cooler than getting to represent your country in international
Absolutely.
competition. So then also I did like the 50K Worlds and ended up winning some like national championships and stuff. Yeah. So like, yeah, it was pretty awesome. But like, definitely the marathon. That's why there's a gap. It's because I like was focused on, marathon training, and then eventually came back to ultra and had a lot of success there. And still, I'm still one of those first kind of guys that toggles between, like you said, like I ran a 5K today. Like, so I toggle between roads and trails, and I never really, chosen one over the other.
5K after winning and setting an American record in the 50K. Then you go and run a 5-something minute pace 5K and win it this weekend. So like, you're an animal. That's crazy.
Yeah. Thanks.
But do you think, so I have to ask you this question, 2 questions. So from 2001 to 2007, huge difference in your 50-mile finish times. Do you think did you switch coaches, A, or B? Do you think that's contributed to all the speed training and workouts you did for the marathon build up for the Olympic trials?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I didn't have a coach, so I just coached myself. I had a coach in 2001. I don't know if you saw like in your ultra sign up, like I did the Marathon des Sables in 2000, and then I ran a 100 miler in 2001, which was the same year I did the Marathon des Sables. And so like I knew I had some talent in ultra. But mostly, yeah, I just focused on marathons. What you probably don't see is I did a bunch of triathlons that in there also. So like did 1999, I did Ironman Lake Placid. So I was still like messing around with like, different kinds of challenges. And which is pretty cool is like last year as a 50-year-old, I beat my time from when I was 25 when I did my first Ironman. So like I was pretty stoked about like being able to do that last year. Like, but the point of that is that I think I did use a lot of what I had learned from marathon training and just applied that to ultra. So I think that that is something that people could learn from. And you see it now more and more with like fast guys coming into the sport. And like a lot of the guys I talk to that are in the, you know, 212 to like 225 range, like when I see them at like they're sub elite for marathons, and they're saying like eventually I'm going to move into ultra. So like I think we're going to see more and more of that. And yeah, I think it's just like the natural progression for people like to be able to use that speed and fitness, and you just like expand it out. Like you've even seen it with like David Roach. Like he had a really good like Javelina and Leadville, and he's kind of using that same approach to his training, I think, for Western States this year. So like that short and fast endurance. And then you see it with like Jim Walmsley's, who's like crazy, like I think he's like a 211 212 marathoner, and then he's like one of the best trail guys. And Hayden Hawks also, is pretty fast on the roads. And even I saw Tom Evans was winning some race today, but like he's run a really fast marathon too. And like one of the first guys that was doing it with me is like, I don't know if you know who Max King is, but he's like running a bunch of Olympic trials, and then Sage Canaday.
Yeah.
So you see it with him. But yeah, and then you see it on the women's side too. So I think, we're going to see it more and more as people shift away from marathons, or they want to see what they can do on the ultras. Like even like Desi Linden's talked about doing some trail stuff, and I think Kara Goucher she won like the Leadville Trail Marathon. So yeah, I think you'll just see it more and more as people either age out of like wanting to do road races, or they decide that they want to see what there is out there on the trails and ultra scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting to see. So I think
Yeah, it's cool,
I
dude.
think it is, yeah.
we'll see some new records get set
definitely.
for sure.
Did you see
Yeah.
Max King's post, I think yesterday or last week?
I saw he did Barkley. Is that what you mean? Or...
He got hurt during the Barkley.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
What did
that
he do?
sucks.
Popped his knee because I saw that he was coming to Nashville. I'm like, oh, why is he coming to Nashville? Because he's more like out west.
Yeah, exactly. Or like somewhere overseas or something.
Yeah.
Like, like yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone wants to do that at some point. I've tried it a couple times and got my ass kicked, and like that's one of those things where we were talking about earlier, like deciding like if I know what you need to do to be able to do anything worthwhile there, and you need to really dedicate yourself. And I feel like it's like you got to pledge, basically. You got to just keep going there until you learn everything, or you got to be so talented that you can like stay with John Kelly, which I cannot. So I thought I could because we did some training together, and then I could not. Yeah, yeah, you need a certain type of skill set, and you need to build that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's also his home course.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the hills out there is named after his family. So yeah, he knows it pretty well. But he's also like
Absolutely.
just incredibly gifted athlete, and like really mentally strong.
It definitely takes that.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
That race does. So I also see that, you've won the USATF National 50K Road Championships a couple times, but then I see that you did get to run Comrades.
Oh yeah.
And Also, Badwater. So I didn't catch Badwater earlier, and you had a really good race at Badwater. You third overall podium, 26 hours. I mean, was that heat? I mean, you being able to try to keep that pace. How was that? How were you able to manage that just to get through that event? Because I know that's incredibly, like, we were talking about heat for the pistol, but that's not the same.
Yeah, that I mean that's a little different. Like Badwater, like you have a crew, and like I had like my brother and my friends like Vince and Rick and my buddy Jay Batchin, and like they're in a like truck. And actually, there's a really cool podcast I just got released this year that we did. They kind of dramatized like my Badwater run. It's actually pretty cool. I should send it to you. You can put a link to the show notes in it. But like
Absolutely.
it sounds really cool. It seems like almost like a video game the way they did it, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like all these races, like there's a couple different ways you can think about it. Like, there's the people that are always like, it's so hard and like crazy, and they want you to think like they're the coolest. And then like some of that's true for sure. Like, but like my shoes never like melted because I didn't run on the white line. That's just like stuff to like make it sound cool for TV, I feel like, but it was like crazy hot and like I was like 120 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I remember putting on one of the most vivid memories was like it was 85 degrees and I was freezing because it had been like 120. So it was like a 50-degree drop in temperature. And I remember being like, where's my knit hat? And everyone's like, what are you talking about? It's like 85 degrees. And I'm like, I'm freezing. And like, so yeah, there's like weird stuff like that where you're like, why should he be cold? Like, I'm like,
They're like, someone get Mike. He's hallucinating right
yeah,
now.
exactly. Yeah. And well, I did see like I did hallucinate a little bit, which is unusual because I've only done that a couple of times, and I did think that I saw like the road runner, but it was just a big cactus on one of the ridge lines. And then like I feel like you're hallucinating too because it's literally just like a straight road and you can see forever. So I know in your head like you're making progress, but like it doesn't feel like it. So you could run like 50K and feel like you're in the same spot. And I got that a lot when I was running across the country because you just have like, huge sections of like Nevada, Kansas. And it actually turns out I set the record across Kansas. Like the FKT guys like reached out to me like 2 weeks ago and were like, "Hey, did you when you ran across the country, did you know you set the fastest time through Kansas?" And I was like, no, because it didn't feel like it, because it took like 9 days or something crazy. But they were like, yeah, I think you have the fastest time. So like that was cool. But like I just called it like an outdoor treadmill because it literally looks like the same. And like you could be running for hours and hours and hours and you're just like still in the same valley. Like literally like, oh,
That
there's
kind
the
of thing.
windmill I saw at the beginning of the day. You know? But that's how it is at Badwater too. But what I was surprised about, and I don't know if have you guys done it or no?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's just like it's way hillier. Like I didn't expect it. It was like over like 5 or 6 thousand feet of climbing, and then we also stop. Like in the old days, you used to go to the top of Mount Whitney. Now it stops at the portal, and so like that last like 13 miles is like one of the biggest climbs that I've done in, not ever, but like in a road race, like to finish like 135 miles with like a half marathon basically straight up to the portal is pretty tough way to end it. But I just thought that that race was cool, and I know people love it and there's people that do it like every year, kind of like they can't get enough of it, but I just thought like there's a lot of other things I want to do with the amount of investment that you have to make to be able to do that properly. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna, allocate those resources other places.
Yeah, we had a girl on here who's ran it multiple times. She was a teenager. I guess she was the youngest one probably
Kaylee.
to finish it, Kaylee Frederick.
Okay.
And I think she might have even podiumed it if I remember. She was
Uh-huh.
top 10 maybe, but and then she won Badwater Cape Fear maybe.
Yeah, she wanted
No,
again
that's
this year.
cool.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's really cool because she's like, I mean, she was running Badwater when she was a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So she's got a cool story. But yeah, she's one of those that I think she runs it every year.
Yeah.
I've kind
Yeah.
of
I
gotten to
mean,
the
I
point
get
where
that.
once or twice. I like to run a race once or twice if I can get better. But man, I don't think I could keep running one every year. Like, I want to see different races.
Yeah, I think there's one race that I love to run, and that's one of our local 50Ks here.
Yeah.
I love running that race. But, like, I think the Pistol 100, I think that's going to be a one and done. The Joel 100, one and done. Because like you said, there's so many out there.
Well,
and you want to keep experience in all these different, great trails.
To that point, though, like some of your local races, I get. Like, go support, do them.
Yeah.
We all do that. There's a couple of races every year. I'm going to run them just because they're local, they're fun. I want to do them. But if I'm going to go do a 100 or 200 mile race, like, I'm not going to continue to do the same race every year.
Yeah,
like I want to explore a little bit.
Like you said, that's an investment for a lot of these, big races. When there's so many out there that you can just explore the world, do.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's come down to for me. Like I would love to go back to some of these things at some point, but like that being said, like I didn't think I'd run. I think this is my fifth or sixth hard rock, and like I just remember it took me like 8 or 9 years to get in, and I was like, I'll just do it once, and then like it's like a family reunion, so like it's not local but it feels local to me, and like I love like helping with the aid stations and seeing Brad and seeing the rest of the team, and like it's, I don't know, like one of those things where it's in a beautiful part of the world, and like when Dale gets up there and is like talking, and you see your friends and you get a chance to be out on those trails, like I was like, there's no way I'll do that more than once, and like now I like put my name in the hat like every time, just because I was like, but I think like there's a guy Rock that I think has a really good mindset for it, where he like ran the race 10 times and then he volunteered like 10 times, and like I think that there's like something cool about that too, because like I want other people to experience too. That's why I don't put my name in the hat for Western States right now, because like there's only so many spots, and like yeah, hell yeah, I want to run it, but like I also want other people to get that experience. And so like, and that's why I haven't put my name in the hat for Barkley, because like they only have like 40 spots, and like if I'm not going to be there to try to do something impactful, like I shouldn't take a spot from somebody else. Like yeah.
That's I love that about you. That's awesome. But yeah, I was actually just looking at your Western States. You had a really good time, a couple good times there as well, and good finishes.
Yeah, I mean, relatively, like I feel like I was always around like my buddy Magda, who was like winning the ladies race, and I'm like, you know, top 20 or something. So like, I mean, never as well as I never did that race as well as I feel like I could have, and hopefully I'll get a chance to do it again at some point, and do it properly. But yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement in those times.
Yeah. Well, I also love the fact that you've came to Bell Buckle, Tennessee, and done the Big Dog's Backyard Ultras. Not a lot of people's got to experience that race, so that's kind of cool that you got to do that. That's fun.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking to somebody about this, and like it's funny because I think I did like 120 or I don't know, 130 miles, and you feel like a complete failure. Whereas in any other point in your life, if you ran that far, you'd be like, dude, that was amazing. I just ran like, for 26 hours. But like when, somebody like Harvey goes like 300 miles, you're like, wow, I suck. And you're like, no, you're just not as good as Harvey. Like,
I was half as good as Harvey.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's not that shouldn't be a bad thing. So like I was like, you just got to rephrase that. Like I just did like, and then you're like, oh, I should be right back to training because I dropped out. And you're like, wait, but you just ran like for a day and a half, dude. Like chill. Like so. Like yeah, I think it's funny because like I was talking to somebody about that, and they're like, yeah, like everyone is a loser in that race, but like that's how it is in every race, and you still get pumped up. Like I run Boston, and like I never won and never will win, but like I still celebrate the fact that I got to run. So like I don't know, yeah, I feel like people should rephrase it on those type of things. Like yeah.
You got to find joy in that journey. That's for sure. And you can't always compare yourself to everybody else, because like you said earlier, just like John Kelly, we all have our strong points, like that's the thing. you can't compare yourself to everybody else
No.
on everything.
Yeah. But that being said, I like to.
Well, that's the motivation. That is
Motivation.
the motivation, just to be better. If I can just get a little better, I can hang with that person.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's my motivation for me to you right now. I'm just like, if I can get a little faster.
Yeah, there you go. Or just hold that 7-minute pace.
Yeah.
Um, so you've obviously done just a ton of ultras and marathons, and that's cool to see. But I also want to give you a shout out for, doing something extremely hard, which you've done too, running across the US, obviously, and then the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, thanks.
Those are two huge feats. And I don't know if you were, for the AT, were you trying to set an FKT, or were you just running
Not
it
really.
for you?
No, because I knew I had to work. So like I had an agreement with the company I'm one of the principals in that like if we had any big projects and it actually turned out that I'm glad we talked about this ahead of time because I had to come off for 5 days and I was like, okay, man, like that's what we agreed to and like I need to, be there. And then there were nights where I was like, yeah, I was actually, I don't know if you who Bart Yasso is, but he's like a famous runner and he hosted us and like literally like we had like a little party after I'd run 50 miles and then I was up until like midnight like doing a spreadsheet for work. So like, there's just like that's not there's no way you're beating somebody like Taro or even my buddy Christian who's going for the FK he was like 3 days from breaking the record right
He
before.
was killing it. He was
Yeah,
killing
exactly. And his mom was actually crewing me, like just to see like there's no wasted time. Like you can't there's no way you can compare with those people if you aren't 100% in. And
Yeah.
so like I wasn't able to do that, but I was like this was a dream since I was like 16. So I was like, I'm going to do it as fast as I can do it and if I have to get off the trail, I will. And I had to get off for work and then I had to get off for the hurricane and like that's fine and you just add that time to your time and so I would have probably had one of the top 10 to 15 finishes had I not but I didn't so it's top 20 and fastest guy over 50 so like you just make it what it is and but really it was more about like just being able to do it like
Yeah,
I
how was
want
the
to try to
journey?
take it. What's that?
I said, how was that journey? Like, was it
Oh, it was
everything
amazing,
you
man.
hoped it would be? Like,
It was even better. Like it was like everything I hoped it would be. And like honestly, like not going for an FKT made it even cooler because like, if I was going for an FKT, I wouldn't have sat there and like done the half-gallon challenge, which is like what the hikers do where you eat a half gallon of like ice cream at the halfway point. Like I would have I wouldn't have wanted to go to Bart's house and visit, or wouldn't have wanted to like spend time with some of the guys who came out to run, and because I would have been so focused on like every second. So like, and for me, like, and no one cares as much as we think they do. So like, it was nice to, make it special for me, and like to satisfy a dream that I had, and like. I got to see like our like I got to run like 2 days with our kids on the trail and like my dog and like I don't know, man. It was awesome. Like everything about it was cool and like it was way harder than it was the hardest thing I've ever done and like I loved it for that. That's what I was looking for and like I'm so happy that I was able to get it done. And like none of this is guaranteed like we think that we're going to have all this time to do things and like that's just not how it works and so like to be able to accomplish like something that I wanted to do since I was a teenager was so cool
Yeah.
like and while I was doing it I was able to like test product for like Teva and like do all these other cool things and like yeah yeah. It's still like it just gives me goosebumps. Like, well, I think you saw my post. Like, I've never been like a personalized license plate dude, and I got like a personalized license plate. My wife's like totally making fun of me because I got like a 60-day Appalachian Trail like license plate for my truck, and like I bought like the Appalachian Trail like little commemorative stamps, and I want to get like actually I should give this out to your audience. And if you guys know, like I want to get like a belt buckle. I've been trying to get like a belt buckle made like with like 60 days on it to commemorate it. Like I have like a cool one, like I have like the record for like the C&O Canal, and like I had like a belt buckle made for that, and like I want to get something made, but like I can't find anyone that can do it. So like if you guys have like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, that would
Oh
be
yeah.
awesome. Like or anyone in the audience, like
Yeah.
so my trail name was like Sparkle Pony. So like I want like a so I actually like
Whoa.
made like
Hang on now. We got to know where this trail name came from. Sparkle Pony. This is awesome. I love it.
yeah, so Sparkle, well, do you know what a Sparkle Pony is?
I don't think I do. Not unless it's a
I didn't.
unicorn.
No, oh, I didn't. Well, so there is a Sparkle Pony from like My Little Pony, which I didn't know. But like, there's a Sparkle Pony. So my buddy Gary Allen ran with me, and so like this is another example. Like, I started in Maine, and my friend David Goodrich, Sharon was with me, and my buddy Gary Allen. Gary Allen and I go way back. Like he brought me in to run like the Mount Desert Island Marathon to set like the record there. I've done like he's got the great. You should check this out sometime. I don't know if he still does it, but he has the Millinocket Marathon. Like it's a free race in this little town of Millinocket, which is like one of the AT towns. Actually, I didn't know this, but it's like one of the towns closest to Baxter State Park, and it has like a really cool hostel there. It's a struggling town. It's like a former like lumber town, and like they lost a lot of business and a lot of plants closed, and so he puts on a race in December to bring tourism into Maine in the winter, and it's free. So like the entry is completely free. You just have to like spend money in town. So it's like the coolest idea. It's like, but anyhow, like he's never summited Katahdin, which is the start of if you're going southbound. So like I got to like hike up to the top of the summit with him and then run down. But if I was going for a record, I would have just had to like leave him. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
because, that's just I would have been cared about like going fast and like not being able to hang out with my friend. And so like but to get to the point of the whole story is he loves going to Burning Man. So he's a burner, I guess. And I was like, "Oh, tell me like I'm super curious guy. So like I like to learn about stuff." And so I was like, "Hey, tell me some stuff about Burning Man." And so he's telling me about like different terms in Burning Man, and like one of the terms is a sparkle pony, and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy. What's a sparkle pony?" And he's like, "Because the point of Burning Man is to be like self-sufficient, like radical self-sufficiency is like the whole point of it. So like you're supposed to like." Take out your trash, like have everything you're going to need to eat, like have shelter, like bring enough water, like wear sunscreen, like I don't know, bring enough like stuff to party with. And so like a sparkle pony is literally like someone that comes to Burning Man and they're just like, wait, where do I buy my Starbucks? Like I don't have anything. Like and so I just thought it was funny because like I'm doing the AT, but I have like a van full of crap and like people that are like cooking dinner for me. And so like I was like, I'm a sparkle pony. Like literally like all these hikers have their like huge packs and like they're doing all the like hard stuff and like I just have like my friends like helping me out. And so like I was like, oh, that's a good trail name. So like
I
that's
love
how I
that.
got to be a sparkle pony. And like, yeah.
So you want a belt buckle that has Sparkle Pony on it with the AT?
Yeah, so like AT, Sparkle Pony, 60 days. So like I've done some like renderings and sent it to some people, but I can't get anyone to make one. So like if you guys
Send me your rendering. I've got a guy that can make it.
cool, okay, that would be awesome. And if it don't charge me like 3 grand either. Like I
All
reached
right.
out to some
It'd be less than $100.
really? Oh wow. Okay, yeah, sweet. Okay.
Send it to me. We'll get you taken care of. Believe me, we order plenty of belt buckles.
Yeah,
so.
we do.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, Gordon and those guys, Gordon said he has somebody too. Maybe it's the same person, but
Yeah, maybe. Very well. Yeah.
yeah. Anyhow, I was
I
just like,
love it.
oh,
That's going to be a cool looking belt buckle, by the way.
Dude, there's some cool ones like because I used ChatGPT and like I don't know if they're possible, but like they turned out pretty cool. So I'll send you some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
send it to me, and I'll get it priced for you. No worries.
All right, cool.
All right, so let's last one now, and then we'll get to the listener questions. But tell us about your run across the country.
Man, it was, I mean, well, I should say both of the runs were, I wanted to make them more about, they were about me fulfilling a dream, but they were also to raise money for charities. So, like, I worked with World Vision, and the goal was to raise, for the run across the country, was to raise $100,000, help build a well in Ethiopia. And so that was awesome. I've never, and that was for me a big challenge because I've never been like a fundraiser person. So it was me pushing myself to like go out and do that. Like I've worked with charities in the past, but it's always been like, you know, come and speak or like, can you pace this person? But like to actually go out and ask people for money, I just wasn't comfortable with that. And so like this was a big departure from anything I'd done in the past. I was really just taken away with how many people responded and how much money we were able to raise. So like I did that with World Vision, and then I've did the run on the Appalachian Trail also for World Vision. So together it raised like I think the run across the country raised 126,000 and the AT run raised another like 30,000, uh, which
That's
was
awesome.
awesome. So like just to be able to, help people. And then what was cool is I did the run across the country in 2022. In 2023, I was able to go and see where that money was allocated. So I got to go visit some of the villages where that money was implemented, got to see the well that helped build, got to see the people that it impacted, and then ran comrades again. So it was like this really cool, like full circle thing with World Vision. But the run across the country was like, awesome. I called it running home. I started, one of my favorite cities is San Francisco. I have a really good relationship with the San Francisco Marathon. If anybody is looking for a July race, which is hard to find, like San Francisco in July is actually like, I don't know if it's Hemingway or something, said like the coldest winter he ever spent was July in San Francisco. So it's actually like temperate weather and it's a fun race. But I don't know. I think when you think about West Coast to me is like Golden Gate Bridge. And so like I wanted to start my run at City Hall in San Francisco, run across the Golden Gate Bridge. And then I live on Route 50, so I called it running home. So literally I ran from San Francisco to Sacramento. In Sacramento, there's this really cool sign. I don't know if you've seen it, but it says like Ocean City, Maryland, like 3,240 miles or something like that. And so, like, I wanted to run to that sign. So, like, literally, like, my buddy and I and my dad, like, jumped the guardrail and went down and, like, took a picture in front of the sign, like, at, it was probably like 3 days into the run because it took a little while to get from San Francisco to Sacramento. And then literally I was on Route 50 basically the whole way back through DC until I got to, I don't know if you know DC, but there's like the Bay Bridge. I tried to get the Bay Bridge to let me run across it and they said no. So then I had to add like 150 miles to go up to Baltimore and then across like this dam to get to the Eastern Shore. And then I finished in Rehoboth Beach in Delaware where we have a beach house. And then 2 days later, I ran down to the sign in Ocean City, which is like 25 miles, 26 miles, just to like have that full circle, like moment of like actually going from sign to sign.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, it was awesome, dude. It was like a total dream come true. Like, you know, lonely American highways, like where there's no one there but tumbleweed and jackrabbits, and you're running down the center line and you can see like as far as the eye can go, and then a lot of different terrain, a lot of different weather, crossing the Rocky Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We made like a cool movie that hopefully is going to get released here soon. Like it's premiered a couple places, but yeah, as soon as it does, I'll make sure I get it out to you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would love to share
Yeah.
that. I would
Yeah.
like to.
Oh,
Yeah, it's cool. So, but the project was called like Running Home, and yeah, it was again like I've been super lucky, but that was one of my first dreams with the AT. The second dream was running across the country. Like after I saw Forrest Gump, I was like, holy crap, people do that? And then it took a little while, but yeah, I was able to make it happen.
That's really cool.
That is awesome.
Now, did you do
Well,
that
and
did you do that with your family as well?
no. My family is, I mean, we still have kids that are in school. So like they were, my wife, Jennifer, like picked up the slack, and then I should give a big shout out to the team at work, like Keith and Mark, like they picked up the slack for me while I was on the road. You know, I would check in and if they needed stuff, and I was still like working, but like definitely they helped make it happen.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But
Sounds
like
like
one of the coolest things was like, you know, it was really one of the things I really wanted to do was have like those moments like Forrest Gump has where like people are like joining him. And so like I was always open to people joining me. And some days it would be one people, you know, some days it'd be no people. And then some days it'd be like 50 or 60 people. So like that was
that's
just cool
awesome.
when you get like a huge group of people like all, you know, really excited about it. And some people would join me like I had guys that were on their deathbed like the month before, and like they came to like the hilliest part of like West Virginia to just because they knew I'd be going slow enough where they could keep up. And then I had other people that ran their first like marathon with me, other people that ran their first like ultra with me. I had little buffs, and like if someone ran an ultra, I would give them a buff. Like I don't know. It was just super cool. Like just to see how many people were involved. And I had people come like multiple times. And like my buddy John, he ran 3 times and like he did his first like 50 miler, I think, with me. And then he came back like a couple days later and did his first 100 miler with me. And like, yeah, it was just, I don't know, one of those cool things where you're like, this is no longer about me, but it's just about like I'm just like the straw that's like stirring the drink to get people to do like cool stuff. I don't know. I think like you guys know as like race directors, like I don't know if there's anything cooler than seeing like somebody do something that they didn't think they could do and then they accomplish it and you just see how much they grow and like they almost like you can see like them like coming into themselves and I think there's something great about that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the best moment I have had as a race director was at Gone Loco last year. We were all at the finish line, and this lady comes through, and she was just crying. And she did a 50K, and she come through, and she just was crying. And she come up, and she gives us all hugs, and
Yep.
she's just crying. And she said, I think she had lost 200 pounds or something
Wow.
like. And she never thought she would ever run a race, more or less a 50K. And, you know, it was her
Wow.
first ultra, and it was just amazing. Like, it was the best experience ever. And that's the stuff that really, at the end of the day, is something that you'll always remember.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Percent,
it's
yeah.
those things. It's not the fact of, you know, a huge accomplishment of what you've done or anything else. It's the people that you you get to see them bring out the best of what they have on that day, like their very best, and things that they never thought they'd accomplished. And when they cross that finish line, they just lose it, and it's the best feeling ever.
And
100%, dude. Yeah.
he came back in 2025 and ran it again. And then when she got done, she's like, I just PR'd this by this. She goes, I didn't think I'd come back, but I couldn't miss it. And, you know,
Wow.
so from not thinking that she could do it to coming back and, you know, cutting, you know, I think it was like 30 something minutes or whatever off her
Yeah.
time. And
Yeah,
she was
dude,
just
that's awesome.
so excited.
Did the Forrest Gump costume make it out during this TransCon?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't think so.
He
No.
actually think about it. I like that.
Missed the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, but I did get I got that call I got called that. Like I mean I get called that pretty frequently anyhow, but I definitely got called that quite a bit during the run.
Yep.
For
Yeah,
sure.
we got a friend that just started. I don't know, maybe
He's 6 days in.
Yeah,
now.
he's a week ago. He just started. Caleb McCoy. So he's running across the U.S. He's a Native American, and he's trying
Cool.
to raise money for his foundation.
So
And,
he's running to
Nice.
the Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma.
yeah.
And then he's
Okay.
coming back here and running through the Cherokee in Cherokee, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes sense.
Kind of same thing. He's doing a fun, you know, trying
Yeah.
to raise money as well. But it's just,
Nice.
man, I hope one day, you know, I my goal is to one day get to do the AT. I don't care about the speed. I just want to do it, like
Yep.
you were talking about. Like I want that
Yeah.
experience. And me and my fiance, we've actually talked about maybe just through hiking it together, to do that.
100%, dude. Like, and dude, those through hikers, they're not going much like slower than like by the end, like because it what's super cool depending on which way you go, like if you're going southbound, like when I was starting, I was like so impressed. Like they're like apex predators by the time they get to you, like because they're already like 2,000 miles in, and they're just almost in the last 200 miles. So like their kit is dialed, their legs are like rocks, like they are solid, and they like have a system. Like I remember like one of my happiest moments was like I was so impressed by like the AT through hikers, and they could eat, and like they had their like Fritos, and they're like scooping them out as they're like maintaining like 3.5 mile. Well, I mean, they basically everyone talks about it in miles per hour rather than pace,
Yeah.
like because it
Yeah.
just makes more sense. So they're averaging like 30 to like 40 miles a day, and they're just walking, and they're like doing all their shit by themselves, like filtering water, like doing all that stuff. And like, I've
Just
got this
super
whole
efficient.
team, and I'm like
Super
barely
efficient.
averaging the same. And so, like, you're talking about like through hiking, like, yeah, I mean, once you get like dialed in, like, you're just like chiseled, like, just, yeah, locomotive, man. They're just unbelievable, like, ground devouring apex predators. Yeah.
I love it. That's a good
Like
way.
literally, yeah. Like it's so impressive. Like I love seeing the through hikers, and they're just but like some of them are just out there having fun. Like I remember one day like I went to get water, and I was like super bummed for some reason, and this lady, she like literally like skipped up to me and was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just having a bad day." And like, and I was like 30 miles in or something, and she was like 15 miles in, and we both needed water. And she's like, how many miles did you do yesterday? And I was like 50. And she's like, "Why do you think you feel bad?" Like, what are you, an idiot? Like yesterday I like sat in a tree for like 6 hours and just looked at the woods, and it was awesome. And I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. But like,
Yeah,
so
it's
there's a
all
lot of different
different
ways you can
experience.
do the through hiking too. Like there was, some guys that were and girls that were doing like 30 or 40 miles, and then other people are doing like 20 miles because they want to hang out with their like tramily, like the trail family or whatever. And so yeah, that's just it's all about yeah. I think they have a saying, but hike your hike, and so like that's I don't know. I just love being a part of that and seeing it. Yeah, I don't
I
know.
mean,
I think it'll be
you got a
awesome.
cool trail name.
You
Uh,
definitely got a cool trail name.
He
yeah,
needs a shirt. Backline needs to make you a shirt that says Sparkle Pony.
I would like that. I think yeah. I it's funny. I'm talking to them. Hopefully, we're gonna have some fun kit.
That's
Also,
awesome.
want another one that like I had a really bad day, and like my crew chief Sharon's like, "What's wrong?" And I go, "The trail was grumpy today." She she was like, "Oh, you should make a shirt." And I was like, "I do. I want to make that shirt." So like, yeah, that's another shirt. Trail is grumpy today. Yeah.
Well, Michael, we'll switch over to questions now. We won't keep you much longer, but very first question we ask this to every listener, and that is, why do you run? I mean, sometimes, like you were just talking about, that 50 miles, that's hard, and you got this happy trail hiker that's just skipping along and telling you, well, no wonder you're in a bad mood. You just ran 50 miles. But why do you
Yeah.
do it? Why do you put yourself through that?
I don't know. For me, it's like part of who I am. Like it's my makeup, man. I love the feeling of being out there. Like I think sometimes I have to hold myself back from wanting to do it all the time, and so it feeds my soul, man. Like it's definitely part of who I am, and something I want to keep doing as long as possible. So like, yeah, I feel like it's like for me, it's like breathing. Like it's something that I enjoy and I need.
Oh, and also, congratulations on, before we turn it over to Matt, congratulations on setting the American record for the 50K. And that's
Mhm.
like, what was that age group, 50 to 54? Is that right? 50,
Yeah, it
55?
is. Yeah, 50 to 54. Yeah.
So I just have to tell you, I absolutely love this. I was going through on social media just trying, because I'm one of those guys. I don't look at social media every day. Like it's one of those where I just go through and I catch up. And I saw Bob Hearn had commented on your post, and I just started dying laughing because Bob's like, Mike's 50 now. I guess I can kiss all of my American records goodbye. I was like, that's awesome. I love that guy. He's so funny.
Yeah, that's funny. I texted my buddy Rich Hanna. I was like, dude, I just got the record. And he's like, oh, did you take it from, I can't remember who had it before, Billy, I think. And he's like, good, because Billy took all my records. And I was like, okay, thanks. I'll get his. Don't worry. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and I meant to say, get into that a little bit with the pistol, and we just kind of went over it. But congratulations, that's huge. I mean, that's huge. That's you. What was your time? It was 3.
31 maybe. It was
Yeah,
all the like same number, just like in different places.
that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
fast. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I tried it earlier at my local, like you were saying, I have the Rehoboth Marathon, and I tried it there, but it was only like a month and a half after the AT. And dude, I was on pace for like a little while, and then it was like my body was like, dude, not yet, not yet. You haven't given us enough recovery. So it felt good to be able to, run a good race. And I felt really solid, and I think the community at Pistol was great. Like everybody, you guys all kept me fired up and moving, and I was happy to be able to get the record.
Yeah, you look
Yeah, you
strong.
did.
You had a great run, and I'm glad to hear you say that about your other attempt, because that's exactly how my 100K went this time. That's my first big race since I messed my ankle up at Pinhoti 100 last year, and my body was basically about 30 miles in, was like, too soon, too soon.
Yeah. Well, and like I fought it for a while too. I was like, I ended up missing it by a couple minutes, but like I knew, like I don't know how you felt, but I knew at like halfway it was gonna be like either something needs to change or like there's no way I can hold on, and
Mhm.
it was just too early. I just felt like flat, and like at Pistol, I just like I felt like, oh, this is happening as long as I don't do something dumb. So
Yeah, that's a good feeling when you start and you're like, okay, I feel like this is happening. Like,
Yep.
unless I do something crazy, we're good.
We're rocking.
Yeah, I
yeah,
was
exactly.
the opposite. I was about halfway, and I was like, this is getting hard. Too
Yeah,
early.
yeah, yeah.
I
Like
still
if it
got
gets
30.
if yeah, yeah, that's not a good feeling when you're like, oh, this should not feel this hard at this point. Like this is yeah. And sometimes you can fake it, and like but like most of the time you.
No,
Yeah, you did.
I knew it was going to be a hard day.
Yeah.
We just suffered through it. Well, Matt, I'll turn it over to you now, sir.
All right, we got quite a few questions here. How many FKTs do you have?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's like 15 or 20.
Quite a bit. It's quite a bit.
Yeah, I think. Ooh, it's way more than that. 1, 2, 3.
As he scrolls
He's
down
like,
the
we're
page.
gonna keep on
I
going here.
shouldn't talk. We're
20,
going to make him mess up.
21, 22, 24. I think there's 28 listed, but some of them I think have been broken. I don't know.
But you have said at least
More than
28
20 and
throughout your
less than
career.
30.
That's awesome.
More than
Out
20
of,
and less than 30.
out of all those, which one means the most to you?
I don't know, man. I've done a lot of cool ones. Like they're all kind of special, like because a lot of them are like something that I created.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did one where I ran the entire state of Delaware, like just because like we have a house there and I thought it would be cool. And then I do a lot of training on the Arlington Loop, and like it's like a 16-mile loop, like literally at the bottom of my hill. And so like that's special to me because that's just like my training loop. The C&O Canal was like one of my first like really long FKTs. It was like a 300 kilometers, like 184 miles. And I broke a record from like the 70s and like the 1970s. So like that's special to me just because like it was something that had been around for so long and was like really well established. And then I've like thought of like cool ones. Like I don't know if you know, there's like these boundary stones that go all around like Washington, D.C., and it's like a 70-mile like circumference, but they're in 10-mile increments. And like I had to like hunt for them, like through fences and like jumping over. Like I had to go out on the Beltway, which is like a crazy like interstate, and then find this like Maryland like sign, and then go into the woods and like track down the like boundary stone. So like that was special to me, and it mostly was special because like I was able to accomplish it, but I did it with like my buddies, and so like my buddy Phil is like crewed me for a lot of these, and my brother will come out and run with me, and my buddy Tom. So like I don't know, that those have all been special. And then like I did some with my family, like when we were in the Galapagos Islands, because like not many people could, like you can't really run there, but I was able to like talk the tour company into letting me like fast hike it. And so like just like because of being innovative, like we got some. And then like there's, some, like I had the record for the AT through Shenandoah, and so like, some like legit ones that people do. And I ran across Panama because like I didn't have enough time in 2023 to like run across the country, but I could do like a 50-mile run on a weekend. And I work in shipping, and so I thought it'd be cool to like run by the Panama Canal since I do shipping for my job. I don't know. Yeah, they're all special, man. Yeah. And like we were in Rome with, I'm sorry, in Florence last year? No, 2023, and we were like doing the tour. I don't know if you guys know, but Florence is famous for like the David statue. And like I found out there's like three David statues, so I made an FKT to run to all three statues because I was like, oh, that would be super cool. And like if people come to Florence, they could have like this like 5-mile run that where they like try to like navigate through all the crowds to get to the FKTs. So like I don't know. I think it's cool. That's what I love about FKTs, because you can do ones that are like really well established, or you can do ones that are like special to you. Like after I did the AT, I did like I saw this thing that there. I don't know if you know, but during the Civil War, there were all these forts that circled DC. So I ran to all the forts like this past like September, and it was like I don't know 100K or something.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And then a couple of years ago, I ran the entire like Beltway. Like it's like a 90 miles that goes around DC, and like ran on the outside of it. And then my buddy John that I told you like ran with me a couple times during the run across the country, he ended up breaking my record by like 20 seconds over 90 miles. So
Wow.
like which was just cool. Like that was like, dude, who would want to do that run? Because it sucks. But like, he did it, and then he ended up breaking the record by like less than a minute. Over 90 miles. So like, that's the kind of stuff where, yeah, you don't know what kind of impact you're gonna have. Like even like a couple days yesterday, I had a guy that ran with me in Cincinnati when I ran across the country, and he brought his family to town and was like, "Hey, dude, do you want to go for a run?" And I was like, "Sure." So like, I met him up with like our dog. We went for a trail run with like his friends and family just because like he was in town. So like, I don't know. I think that's what's cool about our sport is like you make these relationships, and then you get a chance to like see people later and catch up with them. And like since I had seen him, like he and his wife decided to have a baby in their like late 40s because like they thought it would be something cool that they wanted to do. And like that was like not even on his radar the last time I saw him. So like he was like a proud dad, of like a six month old. So like, and I like have a kid that my wife and I are like, worried about where they're going to go to college, and like, but we're brought together because of like running, which is
Yep.
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you never know. All right, let's see. How did you start running in sandals?
I'm sponsored by Teva.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they have really good product, and like I've helped with them to like refine it, and like I've got some that are super cool right now, the Trail Pros. So like I really like the Trail, but the Trail Pros are even doper. So yeah, like
What did you run the pistol in?
the Trail Pro Teva. So it's like a prototype right now, but it was super sweet. So it's got like a carbon plate in it, and
Oh, wow.
it's relatively light and fast. So yeah, it was great. Like, and it was almost perfect weather for it. Like, and it's nice because your feet don't ever get hot, and you don't ever get like hot spots. So yeah, it worked out great.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I know when I saw you running by, and I'm like, Those things had a big stack on them. They actually look really comfy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you know, but Teva and Hoka are the same, like they are owned by the same parent company. So a lot of the guys at Teva are the same guys I worked with at Hoka. So it's literally like the same people. So that's why they
Okay.
look so similar.
Okay. Didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Learned that today. What has been your longest distance so far?
Like single time or what?
Yeah, single time.
I think I won the quarantine backyard ultra during the pandemic and I ran 260 miles in I think I don't know, 64 hours or something. So that was my longest, I think, straight. But then like my longest like project, I guess, would be the run across the country, 3,324 miles
Yeah.
in
Man,
61 days.
I forgot all about that quarantine backyard ultra. I remember that's before I really was doing any backyards. I remember watching that though. I was like,
Yeah,
this.
that was like that was my first backyard. That's why I was down in Bell Bottom or Bluebell, Tennessee.
Belt buckle.
Belt buckle. Yeah.
All right. These two right here are aid station themed. Would you rather have a sweet or salty snack?
Depends what my stomach says.
Good answer.
That's true.
Like at different points, I'd say uh normally sweet, but like sometimes savory is the key.
That's true. If you could pick one aid station food to eat the entire race, what would it be?
Like not engineered food, not like my goose, you mean, but
No, real.
like real food, probably avocado and salt.
Huh.
I like that.
Not an avocado fan.
Yeah. And Hard Rock makes these really nice like avocado salt like rice balls that are pretty good.
I love avocados. I actually tried to run a race on nothing but avocados one time, and that didn't work too well. Probably need some carbs in there, that are with some sugar. But
Wrap it in a tortilla.
yeah,
Yeah.
I should
Yeah,
have
yeah,
put
yeah.
gummy bears on top or something. I'd have been okay.
Yeah, something like that. Old Bay. Old Bay is always good.
Yeah.
All right, my last question is, you've done a lot of races, quite a few. Out of the ones you haven't done, what would be your one dream race that you could do?
I want to run in space. So like my buddies started like this guy Richard Donovan that we didn't even talk about this, but a lot of people know me for running like 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents
Yeah.
and setting the record for that. And he's also got this like he wants to run in space. He's got this space running federation, and so like that's something that I would really like to do at some point
That's
is
really interesting. Wow.
That is wild.
yeah. So yeah, I'd say that's my next like well, and we didn't talk about this either. Like my next big project is like rowing across the Atlantic Ocean. So like that's
When are you
something I've
starting
already
that?
I've signed up for 2027. So that's my next like big project. So that'll be like a 3,000 mile row, hopefully in anywhere from like 50 to 90 days solo across the Atlantic. So that's kind of my next big project.
Michael's going to get out of that thing with like shoulders 3 times the size of his.
Yeah, dude. Actually, yeah, it should be really awesome. Like I've been doing some rowing. I've rowed like a 24-hour row and I've done some like 100K rows. I had my first like rowing marathon race against other people and I bought an erg. So like I'm committed, but it's been fun to like get in that world and hopefully learn a lot more in the next couple of years as I get ready for it.
Wow,
Yeah, definitely.
that fitness increase will be amazing from that too. That's insane.
Yeah, that actually helped a lot at Pistol. I mean, I feel like I've been doing a lot. I mean, I don't know if it seems like you might not follow me on social, but I post a lot of like the workouts I do and stuff like that, and I feel like that's helped. But like adding in the rowing is really making a big difference. I think you get like a lot of good cardio and strength and not a lot of impact. So that's been helpful. And you just feel like I just feel super strong from it.
I feel like Mike could say, we didn't really talk about this, but I'm doing this. Or we didn't really talk about this, but I'm doing that. We didn't really talk about this, but I've already done this. I mean,
Yeah.
when I look at all the stuff you've done, it's just amazing, man. Truly, it really is.
Yeah.
You're truly inspiring to see the stuff that you have accomplished, and and by no means are you stopping, which is what's really cool. Like you keep feeding that that train because you're hungry, and I love that. And I love the fact that you're not just sticking with running, like you're doing all kinds of different things, like rowing. I mean, that's amazing. Like I would never even think about rowing that far, but
No.
that's really cool.
But it is cool, yeah. It's endurance.
Oh my God, it was awesome, dude. It was fun. You're like hooked up and you can see like where you are against the other guys, and like it's a whole like different animal. And like it's been fun like to be welcomed into the community also, like from, not being I feel like it's almost like getting into the running scene. Like, there's established clubs and teams and players, and you got to learn like the lexicon, and like I don't know. I think it's fun, and like I'm glad that people are welcoming me and helping me, and I'm hoping that even I'll learn even more over the next couple of years. Well, I need to learn more, or else I'm not allowed to do it. So like I gotta I gotta learn how to do all the things, but that's exciting to me.
Yeah. And you've definitely gave yourself plenty of time to be able to get to that point. 2027, like that's an awesome goal to
years out.
You're not overstepping or anything like that. You're giving yourself the time to build up to that and do it correctly. So I mean
I mean, I think so. Like I would have liked to try to go a little earlier, but that's when they had that's when they had an opening in the race I signed up for. It's called the World's Toughest Row. So like that I think I probably have the fitness to do it, but I don't have the skill set yet. So like
it's definitely a technique.
yeah, exactly. Like well, and I mean, like people, I haven't even been out on the ocean to like know, like my mom's like, oh, you're not gonna like being in 60-foot swells. I'm like, I don't think anyone likes that. Like, so like I feel like I want to see if I like it or not, but like I don't like being on the top of a ridge when I get stuck in a thunderstorm either, but I love
Mhm.
running, so like that's just part of like what you do to be able to do the thing you want to do, like I don't like getting cars throwing bottles of pee at me and like honking and trying to run me off the road, but I also like wanted to run across the country. So that goes with what you have to do the thing. Like I was saying to somebody, like, I want to do the thing more than I want to be scared of all the things that can go wrong, right? So, like, I think that's so many things in life. Like, there's so many reasons why you shouldn't do anything. But if you think about that too much, then you never do anything.
I think you just made a bumper sticker.
Yep.
Now you got a shirt
Yeah.
and a bumper sticker.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, or it can just be one shirt with a lot of just like sayings on it. Yeah.
I love it. Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time today, man. It's been really fun. And I know that we only touched the surface of some of your huge accomplishments. Maybe we can get you back on here, next year and cover some more stuff and see how you're doing with the training.
Yeah, man. Keep me honest. You can be my accountability partners.
That's exactly. I row for about 20 minutes. That's my warm up. That's it.
Dude, that's 20 minutes. You can crush yourself in 20 minutes on the erg.
Yes. So, but honestly, we would love to get you back on here sometime next year, get an update, see where you're at, and see,
That'd be good.
I'm sure you'll have more stuff planned by then. Continue. I mean, man, you're just pushing boundaries. Continue doing what you're doing and inspiring others.
Yep.
So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be on this podcast. And last but not least, do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so. You guys have anything fun coming up that I should look at?
Well, I mean, we have a race in July called the Cherokee, if you're interested in a trail run, but
okay.
And then we do put on a backyard ultra in November. We have a couple of 3, 6, 12, and 24-hour races and rucks that we do in August and September. So, yeah.
Wait, how much is the ruck? Is it a 40-pound ruck?
30-pound ruck.
30.
You have have we added the 12 hours or just 6 hours?
Just 6 hours.
We have a 6-hour ruck.
Yeah. And also,
like I almost wanted to do that tomorrow. So like that. So yeah, my buddy and I, like as part of the training for Hard Rock, he just got my buddy Tom that I do like most of my workouts with. Like he just bought he's like got this super sweet gym, and like we love like working out together. He just bought we just got We just bumped up. So I've been working with a weight vest for a while, but like we just bumped up the 30-pound weight vests for
Mm-hmm.
our step ups we've been doing for hard rock. So do you have to do it on a rock or can you do it in a vest or how does it work?
A vest or a rug.
Oh, sweet. So like the 510 vests we have would work for it.
Yes.
I don't know if you've used those. Those are super
Yep.
nice, man.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Yeah,
Yep.
biggest thing is just the weight. Now we have a couple of people that are just crazy, and they'll come with like 50 or 60
yeah.
pounds in their pack just because they love rucking.
That's what they train with, so that they don't like. We had this lady at our Gone Loco event. You know, the women I think is 15 or 20, and then the men is 30, and she came in like 45 pounds, and that's what she trains with, and that's the only thing she used. So she wasn't taking it out, and she ended up winning the female ruck.
Yeah,
with
and
the 45 pound.
what's crazy too, Michael, is it's in August, so it is like
You're
90 plus degrees, full sunshine around the lake. It's a 3.5 mile loop with about 400 something feet elevation gain.
Yep.
okay.
So it's brutally hot, but I mean, it's fun. It was last year was the first time we started the ruck, and we had a ton of people show up and do that ruck, and it was just really fun to see them do it. It was really awesome.
Dude, that's cool. Yeah. All right.
I'll throw this out here to you too. In that same race, we have the 24-hour. We've got cash prize if you can break the course record of 109.5 miles in
In
the
24 hours? With the
Yep.
ruck or without?
No,
Without.
just a normal run.
In 24 hours?
We've actually had more ambulances that have came and picked up runners than we've actually handed out belt buckles. But I will say Jen Russo came last year and she got a belt buckle. So she's a really good backyard ultra runner. I don't know if you're familiar with Jennifer Russo. Her and Harvey's battled it out a few times in Ohio.
Yeah.
But she came and she did it.
I don't want anything to do with her then. She sounds like.
And then the record holder is actually Chris Stamen, who has the course record for the pistol.
With Chris Stamen because Chris recorded him to the finish line at the pistol.
Oh, yeah. Chris is on the bike. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Chris is a really fast 100 miler, by the way. He ran Hennepin year before last in 13 hours something.
Yep.
So he's
that
good
is
100
super
miler.
fast. Yeah.
He got a stress fracture in his femur and he's been on the bike for a little while. He just got released to run. So he ran through the finish line with me.
Nice. Oh, that's cool.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, man. It's been absolutely a blast getting to learn more about you. Just again, we want to say congratulations for breaking the American record, and I'm sure we'll get to see some more records fall. And congratulations on a 5K that you haven't even recovered from a 50K from, and you already won the 5Ks. You're just
running fast.
Thank you very much.
Mike, it's an absolute pleasure, man. Take care, and thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks for having us. All right. Bye, guys.